and welcome back to the podcast, which is slightly different. So, as you know, this is Macy Bakshi with the Why I Love Flagler County podcast. And now I'm super, super excited to start launching into St. John's and St. Augustine. So, we have kind of our first guest coming from St. Augustine in this new leg of our podcast. So, thank you so much, Juan, for coming on and kind of being
Course.
our first, like, real, like, St. Augustine person. I've had to be St. Augustine people before, but now it's like full steam ahead. I'm so excited to learn about St. Augustine. So, thank you so much for coming
Of
on so
course,
I can learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing up there.
of
Yeah.
course, yes. Thank you for having me on here. It's super fun, and I'm glad I could be one of the first St. Augustine locals to stop by.
Yeah. So if you don't know, the podcast is really for spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about being a part of Flagler County and now part of the St. John, St. Augustine County, because there's a lot of things that you guys have going on up there. So I'm so excited to learn all the tips, the tricks. But why don't you kind of start us off and tell me a little bit about your journey, coming over here to St. John's County, coming over to St. Augustine.
Yeah, of course. So I was born in Ecuador, South America. So did a little bit of moving. We went out to Jersey for a little bit. Didn't like it. And then we found down here we had family in St. Augustine. We visited a couple times for the most part, which is crazy to say. I live where you vacation now. It's beyond beautiful. I don't think I could ever go back. I go and visit up north again, and it's just not my cup of tea for sure. So I've been
Right.
here now since I was 11, so 13 years in
Oh,
Florida. So I,
that's awesome.
more than anything, blessed to be Floridian.
Yeah, Jersey is very cold. It's very different. It's
Very different.
nice, I think, for like a few days in the summer.
Correct.
Because I live in I lived in Michigan, which is a little bit like even northerner than, if that's a word, than Jersey. So I know when it gets cold, it gets cold. It's not a
Absolutely,
joke.
yes. And I figured that out real quick. Ice is not my friend. So
Yeah, and I think coming from Ecuador of all places to go to Jersey is like night and day. It's like, oh, I don't know. I don't
oh,
know
huge culture shock. Immediately culture shock. To be honest with you, if I were to be spawned in back into Ecuador, I don't think I'd know what to do. But it's still a beautiful spot, beautiful place. I'd like to go visit. I still go
Yeah,
visit up north just because of family,
yeah.
and I think I'd like to keep it that way just to visit.
For sure. Yeah, Jersey was actually the first place my dad landed to when he came from India.
Wow.
And he was like, "Wow, this is cold because India's hot." So I think it's very common. And so now he's super happy to be down here in Florida, even if it's getting a little warm for his taste right now. It's still so much more preferable than the snow and the
Right.
ice.
Correct.
But why don't you tell me a little bit about your business? Because you're doing some great things over there in St. Augustine. I'd love to learn a little bit more. Like, what inspired you to start this journey?
So I am the event director for Classic and Vintage, and we are alongside with the Classic Car Museum in St. Augustine, south of town. Beautiful location. We have over 110 vehicles. 80% is the owner's collection, so he takes a lot of pride and he enjoys his vehicles. We range from classics to more modern rides. Um, Honestly, I've been connected with them for years. I've been closely family friends with them, with their daughter. We used to work together back in the day during summer trips. We would all hang out at their places. They've been beyond amazing people. So I got plugged in with them. They saw my potential. I feel more than anything blessed because they chose me to fulfill such a huge role.
Yeah.
Because it could be a little intimidating at first or something new for sure, but uh, they've given me this opportunity. They taught me well. They saw the growth in me, and
Hmm.
I just been beyond more than anything grateful to also get the opportunity to show them what I can do and
Yeah.
what I can provide as well.
That's awesome. And just in case there's anyone out there who may have an idea, but maybe they don't know in full, what do you do as an event director?
So for the most part, I deal with talking to our clients with any type of events. So here at the Classic and Vintage, our venue is really unique because you could either dress it up really fancy, or we could just kind of make it more casual, dress it down, kind of nice little birthday party, for example. Um, so I deal with talking to clients. I also, if they need me to talk to caterers, I can arrange that as well with them. I also set up the room and tear down the room for them, and I'm also their floater. So at the end of it, I'm always like their right hand man. Towards the end of it, I'm here to really calm the stresses down, let you know it's okay. I got it covered, and it'll be a great
Nice.
successful event.
That's great. Well, I actually just came back from an event because we do our monthly lunch and learns. If anyone isn't aware, we do our monthly lunch and learns here in Palm Coast every fourth Friday. And let me tell you, I've been doing events with my dad for like my entire life. They're a lot of work. So it's great to have someone like you who knows what they're doing, knows the space, and says, like, hey, like wherever you need me, wherever I can take that stress off, let me be there. Let me do that for you. That's awesome that you're able to do that for so many events.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And yeah, honestly, one of my biggest prides is when I can have those aha moments with the clients of like, hey, well, you didn't look at this angle, or hey, maybe there's just this option. It's not
Right.
always so mind clustered, because it can be when
Exactly.
everything's in front of you.
Yeah. I'm just curious, I'm sure you've seen just so many different events. Are there any like secrets or like tips and tricks that you have of like this would make an event really pop, or this is what I really recommend if you're hosting an event? And we can keep it generic. I'm sure there are so many specifics out there, but
Absolutely. Yeah. So with all the events that we have, we also have tons of options to choose from to dress it up, like you said, or dress it down. For example, our add-on options, which is a great add-on option for people that want to attend here, is that we also give a discounted rate to the museum admission. And so, like how when you
oh,
came in, you also saw those big glass doors that open up. And so it just makes it a good way to just get everybody that wants to also come and check out the cars during their event. Hey, we have this all open space that opens up to 110 car garage. So
that's crazy. That's
there's stuff
awesome.
like that. We also have music that we can offer through our Bluetooth surround system. We have mics. So for example, any type of presentation that we want to make, we can either do also uplighting in all the walls. So any theme really, blue, orange, reds, we can match whatever.
That's so cool. There was something that oh yeah, so you mentioned all the cars, which is so awesome because I'm assuming that's the space that we were at the other day for BNI, which is just a beautiful space because I'm from Detroit, which is Motor City. So
Right.
I grew up, and it's not that myself, like I'm not like a car girl. I never really
Mhm.
like had a lot of interest, but I've always seen them, right? I've always seen the beautiful vintage cars, and you guys have a beautiful space there with that.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. We take a lot of privilege, and we take a lot of care about our space here. So especially with the beautiful cars we have to show.
Yeah. Well, so Juan, you've been in St. Augustine for, I would say a while because you kind of grew
Yeah,
up there. So what would you recommend for maybe, us people out of town or just the new people to St. Augustine as it continues to grow? Maybe things to do, places to do, go to, groups to join, events to go to, anything to kind of get active with the community, kind of put themselves out there.
of course. So I always love to recommend people to our downtown historic St. Augustine. There's so much to look at. One of my favorite places is a boutique, Two Sparrows. It's a Christian-based place, and they're amazing. You can find about anything for your missus. There's a couple options for some men as well. But I always like to recommend people to that strip right there. It's very populated. There's so many things to see, so many drinks to have, so many entrees to also check out. There's Italian, more modern Southern too as well, and also you just get to see the beautiful city. The fort, the Castillo. So it's amazing. I always like to
Yeah.
tell people downtown and also the beaches. You can't go too
Oh,
far
yeah.
on the East Coast without seeing a couple beaches. I like to tell people Volano just because it's a little, I guess, less crowded. If you
Yeah.
want something more relaxed.
Definitely. I'll have to keep that one in mind.
Yeah,
That's so
sure,
beautiful. Yeah, St. Augustine, the historical district. I mean, I'm a huge history nerd, so just being in that entire like architecture in that space is like a huge treat
absolutely
whenever I'm able to. My favorite are like I love going to the macaroon place. The
delicious.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like anytime anyone from my family's up in St. Augustine, they know they have to bring me back macaroons. Otherwise, it's like, why did you even go up, you know?
Exactly.
Why did you bother going if you didn't get this for me? So there's so many amazing things to do. So Juan, thank you so much for coming on, kind of being my
Yes,
test pilot for this. And I get to learn so much about St. Augustine. So I appreciate your time. This was a lot of fun. And now I know a
yes,
bunch
thank
of
you.
tips and tricks for my future events.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and I'll make sure I have all the information for Juan and then all the events. If anyone's interested, definitely even just checking out the car space up there. There's so many cars that I grew up within Michigan, and they all have just such a wide variety down over there in San Augustine. So definitely recommend. So check out, copy, paste, whatever makes it easier. But Juan, I really appreciate your time, and to everyone listening, I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.